Hi guys, Hannah here. Welcome to my video and to my channel. Today we are going over my annual reset strategy. I can personally vouch for this strategy. I've used it for the past 3 years, so this is my 4th year doing it now. And looking back on each year, it's absolutely confounding how much I have discovered about myself and how much I've gotten out of this process of deep realignment. This will not be a brutal transformation strategy because let's be real, they don't work. They're not sustainable, they're not realistic. So this is going to be a really helpful routine that's going to make you feel capable, hopeful, instead of entering the new year thinking about all the things you want to change about yourself. I also want to flag that even though this is an annual reset strategy, you don't have to do this at the start of the year. You can do this at any time. And in fact, I have taken bits and pieces of this to do like mid-year resets, especially when I've started the year, maybe I've gone a few months in and I've realized that I'm not as aligned, like I've strayed from the path a little bit. I always come back to this routine and do even a few bits of it. And it has been so helpful for me, even in the middle of the year. So absolutely, if it's not the fresh year when you're watching this, or maybe you just need to come back to it, you can come back to it anytime. Anytime, this routine will be waiting and ready for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Step 1, we need to start with some reflection. There's no point setting our goals, planning out where we're heading to if we don't know and we don't take stock of where we are right now. It's also just kind of a sign of respect to the past you that's gotten you where you are now, that you're not just going to shove her under the rug, you're going to take her out, appreciate her. To continue the wonderful metaphor train that we've got here, if you think of this routine as building a house or renovating a house, this step here, this reflection, is kind of like walking through the foundations of the house and checking if there's any rot going on or appreciating the good bones before you then go and build the rest of the house. Because we cannot plan our renovations if we don't know where we're starting from. The goal as we reflect is mindfulness and understanding, not criticism. Because past you worked so hard to get you where you are now, she deserves some appreciation. My favorite way to reflect on the past year is a big journaling session. My annual journal always gets me like a full essay. Like I think they're usually about 3,000 words, but it can be as long or as short as you like. I actually made a video last year with all of my journal prompts that I use every year. So feel free to check that out. It's got the reflection and the looking forward prompts and I dig into them a little bit deeper, but we're gonna go through them briefly in this video. My reflection journal prompts for the year just gone are: this year was the year that I list all your highlights and accomplishments from this year. What worked this year? What didn't work this year? What did I learn this year? How did my life evolve this year? And what about this year am I most grateful for? While I'm going through these questions, I might also take a look through my photo app or my social medias just to remind myself of what actually happened. Because we often finish the year and we go back and we look and we've forgotten so many things that have happened. Sometimes even the smallest of things can actually be really big when you look back on them. So use whatever tools you need to remind yourself of what happened. Maybe you've got a perfect memory and you remember everything, but I know I forget so many things. So I do use a little bit of assistance sometimes to help me out. We've usually done a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. So take this opportunity, give yourself some credit, give yourself a pat on the back, reflect on everything you've been through, and acknowledge how far you've come. Another really nice reflective thing to do, this isn't something that I've done before, but is something that I'm thinking of adding to my routine this year. You can write a letter to your past self or do a video journal to your past self. With any of this journaling, if writing journals isn't for you, you can always do a video journal instead. I have done a few of those in the past and I found them really, really helpful just to like spew the words out, you know? So yes, you can do a video letter to yourself. You can do a written letter to yourself. Again, this can be as long or as short as you like, but it's a really great way to connect with that past version of yourself that I truly do believe is still in there. We carry our past selves with us everywhere we go. Show them some love. Write them a letter, let them know that you love them and that they're doing a great job. Then we can move on to step 2. Now we are looking at long-term visualization. This goes past the year that we're looking into and goes way into the future. We're creating a compass here so that we know where we're wanting to head to, because we're not likely to create our ideal life within just 1 year. We're going to have some things that are going to take a little bit longer. So it's really important that we tune into that so that then we can help set up our goals for the next year to help lead towards those things. When you're doing this long-term visualization, I don't want you to be thinking about your perfect self, because she likely doesn't exist. Instead, I want you to be thinking about the most grounded, happy version of you, whatever that might look like. If you need some... my background turned off. I didn't even realize. Tried to change my screensaver so that it wouldn't turn off and I'd have an aesthetic background. That didn't work out for me, did it? Oh well, she's back. I don't know how long that was out for. If it turns off again, just yell at me and I'll wiggle the mouse a little bit. If you need some inspiration for figuring out where you want to be heading long term, you can always consider things like, who are the people you admire? Who are the people that inspire you? Have you got any bucket list items? Things like that are going to be really helpful in creating this compass. And I do have some more journaling prompts, but before we go into that, this next step that I want you to do is really, really important. I need you to get super, super clear on your values. These are the overarching themes that have been important to you throughout your life and will continue to be important to you. These can be super broad, things like creative fulfillment, authentic expression, financial stability, physical health, meaningful relationships, any sort of broad themes like that that are really, really important to you. Those are your key values. So I want you to figure out what those are for you, maybe like 3 to 5 values. They are going to be your compass and will act as anchors even as your goals change, because through our life there are going to be many, many versions of us who have different lifestyles, different careers, different communities, but you will find some overarching themes that stay the same regardless. For example, one of mine is authentic expression. So because that's something that's really, really important to me, I really struggled when I was working in a career where I had to suppress that and I couldn't be myself because of the whole working environment. So to manage that, I knew I had to find areas outside of that work to find that authentic expression, to kind of balance it out. And I knew that eventually I would have to leave that career because it wasn't aligned with me. Okay, now it's time to bring back the journal. So the prompts for this section are, what does my dream life look like? What does the best version of me look like? And what do I need to do to make those things happen? I really want you to focus on how you feel through these. Yes, it's great to write down that I want to own a Ferrari. I want to own a Tesla. Sure, that's great. But how are you going to feel about that? And how is that going to change your experience as a person rather than just how other people perceive you? I really want you to keep this as an intrinsic kind of situation rather than extrinsic and other people's opinions. Now we move on to step 3, which is our yearly planning. Yes, we're finally doing it. This is the bit that everyone wants to skip to straight away, but the bits that we've done before are so important to set you up for this bit right here. Now that you know where you are already, you've found your compass to figure out where you want to go, now you get to start planning out all of the little steps to get there. So we've got some more journaling prompts. Let's go through them. What is my theme this year? How can I embody my theme? How do I want to evolve? What do I want to release? What will I do this year to feel fulfilled? What new things do I want to try this year? What area of my life do I want to focus on first this year? How do I want to transform myself in this area? What are my main goals and resolutions? Include why and how it relates to your dream life. I always just feel so incredibly excited after doing these journaling prompts. They just get me really like optimistic and like I feel super motivated to do so many things. So now for that final prompt, the goals and resolutions for the next year, I usually include like at least 10 goals spread over a complete broad range of topics. I'll tell you the topics that I split it into. I split it into university. You could do university or career, anything like that. Relationships, mind, body, finance, and hobbies. By having all these categories, it really makes sure that you're setting goals that are really broad and is leading towards a well-rounded lifestyle. Because you take to get to the end of the year and realize that all of your goals were about your hobbies and suddenly you have no career, or all of your resolutions were about keeping your body in shape and you had nothing to keep your mind in shape. So now that we've got these goals, we're going to use them for our next step. I think this is one of my favorites. I am a very visual learner. So I find it, and it's gone again. The screen's gone again. You didn't tell me. Why didn't you tell me? That's so rude of you. This is actually a great thing to bring our attention to because it's time for the vision board. We then take all of our goals, our resolutions, and anything else that we've mentioned in our journal and turn it into our vision board. Now, I really want to encourage you when you're making this vision board to keep it focused just on the next year of your life so that when you look at your vision board, you feel really excited instead of swamped by all the things you need to achieve. Of course, you can always create a second vision board that's like your 10, 20 year plan. So you can have another vision board for that, absolutely. But in this yearly reset, I really want you to focus on a slightly more immediate future. Your vision board should inspire you rather than overwhelm you. And it should also have a really clear visual identity that matches where you want to be heading to. I just finished up filming and realized I didn't even tell you how to make these vision boards or how I make my vision boards. I get all of my photos off of Pinterest and then I go on Canva and just make a little collage on there. I love having my vision boards digital because then I can set them as my wallpaper, but you can absolutely do a physical, like get some magazines, do some scrapbooking, that sort of thing. You can absolutely do it that way and put it up on your wall. That can be really helpful as well, but that's just how I make my vision boards. Here are some examples of previous vision boards that I've done. I feel like there are a few distinct styles going on, but that's reflective of where I was and where I wanted to be heading at the time. I cannot recommend this enough for the visual learners out there. I recommend you set this as your wallpaper. I've got it as my wallpaper on my laptop and also on my phone, so that even if I'm not directly looking at it and taking it in, I'm kind of subconsciously attuned to it all the time. And because I put really gentle, achievable goals and pictures that create a kind of feeling that I'm wanting, I don't feel pressured by it. I just feel aligned, which is exactly what we want. This should be a motivating force for you, not a list of to-dos. And step 4, it's time to take some action. Now that we know where we are, we know where we're heading, we know how we want to get there, now we need to start taking some action and doing the things to get there. A very popular thing to do in this section is decluttering. I do love a declutter. I've been decluttering my apartment over the past month or two, and you don't have to do it crazy at the start of the year. You don't have to go like turbo mode, taking everything out of your home. If doing it slower is more sustainable for you, then do that. It's not about getting rid of everything so that you can become this better ideal version of yourself. It's creating ease for yourself. So some areas to do a declutter or a reset. You could do a wardrobe. I think that's the most common, most popular. People talk about that one all the time. We've got a wardrobe declutter. You can go through your stationery. You can go through your kitchen. You can clean your car. I feel like that's an underappreciated one. I need to clean my car. You can do a digital declutter. Get rid of photos that are taking up room. Unfollow people that are making you feel bad about yourself or muting them. Go through your email inbox. If you have 2,000 emails sitting in your inbox unread, you might not want to admit it, but that's causing a teeny tiny bit of pressure in the back of your brain. So I would recommend you find some time to go through that. Listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast while you do it. Use this time while you're decluttering to check in with your values and your goals and consider if there were any choices that were made that don't align reflect on that as you go. I'll give you an example. For me, I just did a declutter on my bookshelf. I bought so many books this year, which was a lot of money that I could have kept in my bank account. And unfortunately, a lot of the books that I bought were secondhand books, and I simply bought them because they were cheap, not because I was likely to actually read them. So for me, I now know when I'm making those decisions in future, I'm probably not likely to read the book that I stumble on in a thrift store. I'm more likely to read and enjoy a book that I actively go and seek out. Of course, it is a privilege to be able to go and buy books brand new, but that's just one of those things where I know I have the means, and I was over consuming cheap when I could just be like regularly or sustainably consuming a full price product. So that was something that I reflected on recently through my decluttering process that I'm going to consider moving forward. So you might find something similar as well. And that brings us to the end of our reset strategy in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I haven't done my reset yet, and this is getting me so excited to dig in. It's like one of those life admin things that I genuinely enjoy so much. So I really hope you give it a go, and I hope it's really helpful for you. Feel free to share this video with any of your friends. Maybe you could do like a little journaling session together, or you just like body double. That sounds really fun, actually. A little journaling date. I think that's ideal. I hope you're having an excellent holiday season, or whenever you're watching this, I hope you're having a fabulous year. I am wishing you so much love and happiness and success for the new year. I'm so excited for everything you're going to discover about yourself. I hope you liked this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.